This video was intended to inform and educate the public.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Every day, when I'm out on patrol or just walking my beat, it feels like a threatening situation could erupt at any minute. As a police officer, I constantly live in fear that I might be filmed brutalizing a civilian. The slightest civil rights infraction in front of anyone who's looking, and the next thing you know, you're surrounded by cameras and trending on Twitter. No cop should have to worry about that.
A West Helena officer is off the job after video shows him pointing a gun at a driver. That video went viral on social media. The heated exchange between the officer and the driver.
An officer pointing a gun at a driver now has more than 900,000 views online. The video helped lead eventually to Officer Terry Daughtery being fired from his job.
Can you tell me what I did wrong?
Okay, shut your car off.
A Facebook Live video shows West Helena police officer Terry Daughtery pointing a gun at Edric Truitt. According to a police report, Truitt was pulled over in May for not leaving a gas station parking lot. The officer then asked for his license, registration, and proof of insurance before pulling out a weapon.
Sir, did you comply with the lawful order?
My hand's in the air.
I'm not going to shoot you, but you're not going to move those hands.
My hand's in the air.
Several minutes later, Daughtery forces Truitt out of the car. Truitt, who was taken into custody and later released, told police he feared for his life. The police department stated that Daughtery violated the minimum force policy by pointing a gun at Truitt. West Helena Mayor Kevin White sent Daughtery this termination letter at the recommendation of Police Chief James Smith, saying in part, when we fail to follow legal procedures and training in the conduct of operations, we endanger others and create confusing situations that can be used to divide our community. And take your phone out.
It's out, it's out.
Two jaw-dropping cell phone videos showing the disturbing actions of two Gwinnett County police officers during a traffic stop.
Oh.
The first video, released on Wednesday, went viral on social media. It shows the handcuffed driver, identified as Demetrius Hollins, on the ground and in handcuffs, held down by one officer. And moments later, the second officer, identified as Robert McDonald, shows up to assist with the arrest. McDonald then runs up and stomps the helpless handcuffed Hollins in the head.
It disturbed me, and as it disturbed everyone who actually witnessed that video.
Within 24 hours of that video being released, Officer McDonald was fired. During a press conference, the chief calls McDonald's actions inexcusable.
What happened yesterday at the hands of one of my former officers was embarrassing, not only to the Gwinnett County Police Department, but to all law enforcement. We hold our officers accountable for their actions, and in less than 24 hours, the Gwinnett County Police Department held this officer accountable for his actions.
But just hours after today's press conference, this second cell phone video surfaces of that same controversial traffic stop. It shows veteran Sergeant Michael Bongiovanni pulling the driver out of the red car. And as the driver stands with his hands raised, a sign of surrender, the sergeant rears back and punches the driver whose hands remained raised.
Nice. 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 Nice.
I'm very upset. I'm mad. I'm sick that the second video showed up.
Police Chief Ayers says Sergeant Bongiovanni hid his actions from investigators.
I'm glad that the second video was forwarded to us. We've been able to move swiftly to terminate this supervisor who not only stepped outside of his training in state law, but he failed to tell us what happened in the incident report and the use of force reports.
Another one bites the dust.
Constable fired after a video of his encounter with two men goes viral.
You don't have the right to run this.
I got my right to do anything I want to do. I'm a police officer.
A cell phone video shows tense moments between a Lawrence Township deputy constable and two men in a car.
Get your driver's license out.
You can't state
show
this
me a
suspicion.
driver's license. That's all.
The video was recorded Tuesday outside of the Nordstrom rack on 82nd Street. The men in the car say they were racially profiled.
He watched the clerk bag everything for us, and he watched us push two carts out. So Yeah, he wasn't suspicious. He just wanted to act.
But you didn't get the license out, or I'll hit for a backup.
The men asked what they did wrong, but didn't really get an answer. So they kept recording the whole 17-minute ordeal.
If you want to prove something, or if you want anything, like anything that I have no control over, as far as me having a conflict with somebody that has authority, I'm definitely, and that's somebody being a police officer, I'm definitely going to record it.
A few minutes later, an IMPD officer responded as backup and told the men they were free to go. Lawrence Township Constable Terry Burns would not identify the deputy in this video, but he tells us he has been fired.
Another one bites the dust.
A Social Circle police officer out of a job after a traffic stop with a teenager. The department's police chief says, along with threatening and cursing the 17-year-old out, that officer violated policies.
Social Circle Police Chief Tyrone Oliver says he fired James Sanders, an 8-year veteran on the force, after this incident on North Cherokee Road. He says Sanders was already on one traffic stop with another officer when this black Jeep passed by and someone yelled out a profanity-laced remark against police. That's when Oliver says Sanders followed the car, pulled it over, and asked the passengers to get out.
F the police. I'm sorry. The teen kept saying no. I don't want to do that. And he's like, no, you're a tough guy. And you want to, here I am. If you want to F me up, F me up.
Oliver says the video also shows Sanders threatening to search the Jeep and everyone inside.
If I go to jerking everybody out of that Jeep and I find 1 ounce of weed, do you think I'm going to take everybody to jail? In this profession, we have to have tough skin. I mean, people say things to us all the time. And you just got to have to let it roll off your back and keep going and doing your job and do it right. He did state that he pulled him over for failure to maintain lane, and when you look at the video, the vehicle did hit the white line, but it was after he was coming up on one at a high rate of speed.
Oliver adds Sanders has 3 other disciplinary actions on his record, including a written reprimand in 2014 for allegedly threatening staff at a high school while on duty.
Another one bites the dust.
A Central Indiana Reserve officer is out of a job tonight after his boss looked at an arrest video that's been viewed by millions.
That video, recorded here at Creekside at Meridian Hills apartment homes and seen by millions, has cost the officer caught on camera his job.
My name is Officer Reynolds. Okay. All right. I'm a courtesy officer for the complex.
This is the video that ended the employment of James Reynolds at the Sheridan Police Department, where he worked as a reserve officer. He owns and operates a security company out of Hendricks County. While patrolling the Creekside at Meridian Hills apartment homes earlier this month in Marion County, Reynolds asked 21-year-old Jaquan Dean to identify himself in the parking lot. When Dean refused, Reynolds called for his employees, 2 Southport officers working off duty, to come and arrest Dean.
I got a guy that wants to be difficult, so he wants to do things the hard way. So he wants to be difficult.
During the arrest, here's where things went south for Reynolds. He spotted Dean's cell phone on the ground, still recording, and crushed it with his foot. Now, Jaquan Dean faces resisting law enforcement and refusing to identify, and Reynolds had to turn him his badge. Out of a job.
Another one bites the dust.
The firing of a police sergeant seen in a viral video kicking a detained woman in the face. Sergeant Mark Theodule has been terminated after the video surfaced on social media last month, which led to an investigation. It determined Theodule's actions violated department policy. He had been suspended without pay. APD says their investigation also showed Officer Bridge Citizen, who is also seen in the video, did not violate the department's duty to intervene policy.
Another one bites the dust.
The police officer who dragged a nurse out of a hospital for not drawing blood has been fired. Salt Lake City's police chief Tuesday decided to fire the officer who assaulted Alex Wubbles after she would not allow him to draw blood from an unconscious patient. Payne had been investigating a fatal crash and demanded a blood sample from the surviving victim who was unconscious at the hospital. The entire scene was captured on the officer's body cam. Quite frankly, had you not had any video, it would have been he said, she said, Wubbles said. The body cameras help everyone.
Another one bites the dust.
Caught on camera in Georgia. The officer accused of excessive force, the department taking action.
Tonight, a deputy in Georgia fired after this disturbing video went viral and sparked outrage. Clayton County deputies restraining a man, pinning him to the ground as his child and girlfriend watched. At least one of them repeatedly punching him in the face while shouting that the man was biting him. That man identified as Roderick Walker. The video taken by a bystander released by Walker's attorney.
He is unable to breathe. He has at least 2 episodes where he goes unconscious.
Walker later seen here in jail in a photo released by his attorney, who says Walker and his girlfriend were riding in a car that deputies pulled over for a broken taillight.
Despite Roderick not being a driver, was a passenger, they immediately approached him, asked him for his ID. He informed them that he did not have any ID and that he didn't need any since he was not driving a vehicle.
Walker's attorney says his client was then asked to step out of the car.
It escalates to him being beaten on the ground, being tased, and almost dying.
Well, the Canton police officer caught on camera kicking a suspect who appeared to be complying was fired.
It's getting worse and worse every week. This city is on the verge of a civil war. Us against the police department.
The city of Canton fired Detective Brandon Momarov Monday. The decision comes after this video surfaced. It shows the detective kick 21-year-old Jameer McElroy, even though he was already on the ground with his hands up. Bobby DiCello is his attorney. He says this is a good first step.
Would this case have even happened without bystander video? It's our position that it wouldn't have, and that's what we want the city to become, a place where bystanders don't have to protect themselves or their neighbors from the police.
The Fort Worth Police Department fired an officer after an investigation revealed he lied about using excessive force against an arrested person. According to Fort Worth Police, Mitchell Miller arrested someone for public intoxication in January. This is that video where police released of that incident while they were walking toward the jail entrance. The arrested person turned toward Miller, and Miller reacted by shoving him to the ground, as you just saw there. The victim lost consciousness when he fell and hit that concrete. Miller didn't report the incident and later said he didn't use force. Investigators say another Fort Worth officer reported what had happened.
You know, one day honest citizens are going to stand up to you crooked cops.
They are? Oh no. Have they set a date?